US Vice President JD Vance disclosed during a public event that he and his wife, Usha Vance, who is of Indian origin, are raising their children in Christian tradition. He revealed that their eldest child attended First Communion about a year ago and that their older children are enrolled in a Christian school. Not just that, Vance also acknowledged that Usha grew up in a Hindu family and considered herself agnostic. While he emphasized that conversion is not mandatory, he frankly said, and I'm quoting the US Vice President here, "Do I hope eventually that she is moved by the same thing as I was moved by?" His answer was a big yes. And he goes on to say that he believes in the Christian gospel and he hopes that his wife will come to see it the same way. Take a listen.
Now, most Sundays, Usha will come with me to church. As I've told her and I've said publicly, and I'll say now in front of 10,000 of my closest friends, do I hope eventually that she is somehow moved by the same thing that I was moved in by church? Yeah, I honestly do wish that, because I believe in the Christian gospel, and I hope eventually my wife comes to see it the same way.
All right, and earlier my colleague Harsha Kumari Singh spoke to Usha Vance during her visit to India in April. Usha back then claimed that the Mahabharata and Ramayana kids were her inheritance. Take a listen.
Is going to be to the Taj Mahal, to Agra. What are you looking forward to for that?
Well, I mean, of course, it's one of the wonders of the world, and I haven't been there now in, I think, 2 decades, maybe a little bit longer. So I've seen photos recently. I know it's been beautifully preserved. It looks spectacular, and I know that when I take my kids there, their jaws are just going to drop because they love architecture and they are going to be just completely amazed by what was built here all that time ago.
Most children, are they full of questions? What's the kind of questions they ask?
Well, right now, as I mentioned, they're very into military history, so there are a lot of questions about that. But my children are also, this is maybe not specific to the Taj Mahal, but they're very interested in the Mahabharata and the Ramayana and stories like that. So they have lots of questions about that, and they're always looking for references everywhere they go. And we've been lucky, of course, to see a puppet show at the Prime Minister's residence, and we've seen, paintings and all sorts of things where they know exactly what the story is just from seeing it on site. So they have lots of questions about those.
And well, to talk more on this, my colleague Aditya is now joining live. Aditya, just a short while ago, the US Vice President, whose wife, as we all know, is of Hindu origin, he's clearly said that he believes in the Christian gospel and he hopes that his wife rather will come to see it the same way. Do you see this as the US Vice President wanting his wife to convert?
Well, Raisha, this is a bizarre comment, and that too coming from a vice president of a country. And there are already angry reactions coming in all across the social media, with JD Vance saying that, he's a proud Christian. And of course, he's raising his 3 kids as Christians as well. But then going on to say that he hopes that the church influences his wife at some point in time in future. And perhaps she also becomes a Christian. This is bizarre. I mean, why would anybody, want that to happen? It's a free country. It's of course a free choice as well. And she's at least born with a Hindu faith. She might be atheist now, or she might believe in Hinduism. She, of course, is giving the right kind of education to her kids, not just about Christianity, but also influence from Mahabharata and as well the Ramayana. So that clearly says that there is the right kind of upbringing from all angles really being given to their kids. But the question right now is also that religion in many cases is a very private matter. So why would, JD Vance trigger a debate? Was this he trying to, make a appeasement kind of a statement to appease a certain section of the society? Because we know that he's a young vice president and aiming to become president someday. So perhaps political ambition driving this kind of a statement that might be taken in the right spirit in US, but certainly not in the right spirit here in India.
Right, absolutely, Aditya, because Vance himself is an atheist now turned Catholic, and like you also clearly mentioned that this public statement, this personal statement on a public platform. I'm also being joined by Daniel Block, Senior Editor, Foreign Affairs, and a contributing editor at the Washington Monthly. Welcome to NDTV, Mr. Block. Your thoughts, your first reaction on this statement of the US Vice President, perhaps wanting his wife, who is of Hindu origin, wanting to convert, because earlier, a few months ago, Usha clearly said that she has no plans to convert. How do you read this?
I mean, two things. First, I just want to say I don't want to pass judgment on anyone for their religious views or decisions to convert or not convert to any faith. I should be clear about that. I think, per what the other panelist was saying, I want to build on that a little, which is it's important to view Vance's comments in the context of where they were said and what he was speaking about. So I think he was talking at a Charlie Kirk memorial event of some kind. And we know that Kirk was very supportive of Christianity and having Christianity play a major role in American politics. And so it makes a tremendous amount of political sense for Vance to talk about Christianity and his hopes that Christianity will spread, including within his own household, especially, again, as my fellow panelist was just saying, within the context of a likely bid to be president of the United States in 2028.
Right, Daniel. Aditya, coming to you, like you earlier mentioned, that is he appealing to the broad MAGA base? Do you think that perhaps his wife's faith has become a political issue? Because we also saw that there were absolutely no Diwali greetings also from the US Vice President.
Well, Christianity plays a significant role in US politics, especially for the MAGA supporters. As Daniel also pointed out, this was an event at the University of Mississippi. It was a memorial for Charlie Kirk, and he has played a significant role. He unfortunately was killed a few weeks ago. And since then, there have been several memorial events in which, perhaps millions and millions of people have participated, either physically or virtually. So I'm sure, JD Vance has that in mind, and there is a political strategy or a PR campaign that is also driven around it. There might be criticism on social media. There might be criticism here in India as well. But let's face it, India is not going to vote for JD Vance. He has his own political votaries and a crowd out there, and he certainly has to appease to them. So maybe he should have been a little more mindful and said that perhaps he will respect his wife's opinion. He did say that indirectly. He said that he will not force it. He will not forcibly convert her, but he hopes that someday, with some divine intervention, she turns into Christian. But certainly, this is driving an emotional debate here in India, especially with Usha Vance visiting with JD Vance and their children recently, visiting the Swaminarayan temple here, and also saying in an exclusive NDTV interview that their children are inquisitive about the Mahabharata and the Ramayana. So I'm sure this will not end up as a major controversy, but certainly as something, as Daniel was also pointing out, in the direction of the next presidential race, a first step towards that.
Right. Thanks, Aditya and Daniel, for getting us the latest and sharing your insights on this.